Are you being honest with yourself about what you can do today? Or are you trying to perform at a level that you don't have the capacity for today? Maybe you had the capacity yesterday, and maybe you'll have the capacity tomorrow, but do you have the capacity today? Welcome to the Wellness Rundown with Monique Dene, the strategic gal, certified holistic nutritionist, a licensed physical therapist. I am your holistic wellness mentor. This is your weekly rundown of education, encouragement, and strategic tips to improve your physical, spiritual, and emotional well being. If you're ready, then I'm ready. I have a confession. Last year, physical wellness, my physical health, was not my top priority. It was not even in the top three. And it's not because I was doing everything perfectly. I wasn't. It's not because my routines were running smoothly and I was doing my habits every day. No, it's because I was so burnt out holistically. I feel like I spent the year before that fighting for my spiritual well being, fighting for my sanity, fighting to survive what I was dealing with at the time. And so I entered last year knowing that my physical health just couldn't be my focus. And I know it sounds a little strange coming from someone who works in healthcare, whose full-time job is health and wellness, and but maybe you just haven't faced that point in your life yet. But maybe you're at a point in your life where you're saying, oh my gosh, Monique, this is exactly how I feel about this year. This is exactly how I feel about this month. This is exactly how I feel today. Like, I'm listening to your podcast, I'm seeing this video, and I'm saying, I don't have it to give. What you're saying is nice, but I'm not ready. So, there's this term that I'm going to use today called wellness burnout, which is a term that I'm using to refer to the exhaustion, the overwhelm, the lack of motivation that we may feel when we start to think about improving our physical health. Okay, and it sounds daunting, but my burnout was a struggle, but it was also a blessing. It gave me the opportunity to separate myself from everything that was not supporting me and recommit to a true transformation journey. It set me up for this year, for doing things better and more successful and more effective and more enjoyable this year. Okay, so if you feel like you're burnt out, maybe it's just a part of your pruning process. Maybe it's just a part of your transformation journey. Maybe it's a part of your wellness journey that has to be honored. Every season isn't, life is not all highs, it's not all lows. There are highs and lows. And so if you're experiencing the low that is wellness burnout right now, you're not alone, and you will get through this. This too shall pass. So I'm going to reread this definition of wellness burnout, which is the term that I'm going to use for the rest of this episode. Excuse me. Wellness burnout is a term that refers to the exhaustion, overwhelm, and lack of motivation that we may feel when we think about what it will take to improve our physical health. It's when you realize that you do not have the emotional, mental, or even physical capacity to do what you know needs to be done. It's when you feel helpless and hopeless about your ability to reach your goals or to begin the process of improving your well-being. That's what I knew I was experiencing, because I knew every strategy. I had every resource. I had even lived experiences about how to improve my health and reach my goals, but even thinking about doing it was exhausting. So if you're there right now, I want to share with you a few ways to deal with wellness burnout. Okay. Number one, take the pressure of perfection, the burden of perfect performance completely off the table. Not only is it unrealistic, not only is it an impossible feat, but it is contributing to your probability of being burnt out in your wellness journey. So take it off the table, throw that expectation away. We're going to replace it with better expectations. All right? Number two, I need you to be completely honest with yourself about what is possible and explore what works today. When we say, I'm going to set this goal for my water, for my steps, for my macros, for my calories, for all of these things, I need to hit all of these markers today. I need to hit all these metrics today. And something happens where you just don't have the capacity to do it well, where you would have to lose sleep in order to get your steps, or eat something that just doesn't seem appealing to you in order to get that specific number of grams of protein or whatever the case may be. I want to ask you, are you being honest with yourself about what you can do today? Or are you trying to perform at a level that you don't have the capacity for today? Maybe you had the capacity yesterday, and maybe you'll have the capacity tomorrow, but do you have the capacity today? And if not, then let's set some realistic goals. Another way to deal with wellness burnout is to try new strategies. Maybe the strategy you use today is one that didn't work yesterday but works really well today. Maybe the strategy is something that you never thought would work for you. But today is the thing that's going to get you back on track. Today is the thing that's going to get you back together. All right. Number 4, I need you to reconnect with your core motivation. I'm not talking about the visual reward, the aesthetic pleasure that you get from seeing that you lost 2 pounds. I'm not even talking about getting your muscle mass up and being more defined, more toned. I'm not talking about those rewards. What is your core motivation? What really matters to you? More than all of those things, if your body never changes in the way it looks, what's the thing that's going to carry you through your wellness goals today? Is it not falling into the lifestyle diseases that run in your family? Is it having the energy to play with your kids? Is it having the strength to do the work that you do every day that you enjoy? Is it being able to have the endurance to go hiking with your loved ones? What is your core motivation? Is it community? Is it better performance? Is it experience the fullness of the health that God wants you to experience in this life? What is your core motivation? Why do your goals really matter to you? When you reconnect with that, it will help you push through the burnout, do what is possible today, and overcome it so that you can start to see a different, a better wellness journey. Okay. Next, I need you to release the shame. Okay, release the shame, the external shame from not meeting the goals that society has set, the standards, or even recommendations that industry and organizations have set for health. Reject that external shame. It does not belong to you, okay? But you also are going to have to see where you have internal shame. Where are you shaming yourself? Where are you perpetuating that language and that pressure that the industry, that society, that your family even is putting on you? Where are you repeating those things in your heart and in your mind? Shame is not our friend, okay? So instead of the shame, we're going to replace that with the thought that I'm just going to do what I can. And if I can do a little bit better than that, then I'll do that. Do that until you feel less burnt out. Do that until you feel more motivated to improve your situation. All right. This one is really fun for me because we talk about boundaries a lot. All right. That's a conversation that has been happening and is happening almost to exhaustion. But boundaries are vitally important, right? So the other thing that's really important to your wellness journey is accountability. But when you're burnt out, you need to reevaluate, reassess, and reestablish the boundaries you have for accountability. So for me, that looked like not having detailed conversations about my routines, about my diet, about my goals, even with my accountability partners. When people in my circle, in my community who care about me, started to ask those accountability questions, I was honest, but brief. Okay, I pivoted when I felt shame begin to enter the conversation because, like I said before, shame is not your friend. All right? So I would say things to people like, well, I haven't been doing what I know I need to do, and I'm aware of that. Or I would say, yeah, last month I was working out every day before work, and that was working for me, but it's just not working for me this month. I just don't have that capacity in the morning this month. So I'm gonna walk around the building at lunch. Like, that's how I'm gonna get some activity. I'm just gonna do the little bit that I can. Or I would say, yes, I've been eating out for the last 3 days and I enjoyed it because I'm exhausted and I was stress eating. Because you have to be honest with not only the person who's trying to hold you accountable, but you have to be honest with yourself. I know when I'm emotional eating. I'm very aware of it. Okay, I talk to my clients about it, my patients about strategies to get around it. But there are some days where I was so burnt out in every other area, and I was trying to focus on my spiritual health. I was trying to focus on my emotional health. I was trying to focus on resetting my occupational flow. That sometimes stress eating was just what happened that day. And I knew it was happening and I knew I could overcome it, but it's just the energy to overcome it would have taken away from other things. So I need you to be honest with yourself. You need to be honest with your accountability partners. Don't reject them because they're trying to help. Just set up appropriate boundaries and pivot the conversation when you need to. How are you doing? What did you have for dinner today? That sounds amazing. Send me that recipe. So when I have energy to cook, maybe I'll try it. Okay. And lastly, but not least, you have to present yourself to God humbly, honestly, and ask Him for strength, asking for guidance, asking for endurance, and asking for sufficient grace. God gives these things freely to those who ask with a genuine heart posture. So when you see that you're burnt out like this, go to God. Say, God, I'm tired. I am exhausted. I know that you want me to be healthy, but I don't want to do it right now. You see me emotional eating, God, and this food is good. Thank you that I can buy it. But help me to do better tomorrow. Please, Lord, help me. But seriously, you have to go before God and ask Him, give me sufficient strength to make a better decision in this moment. This is what I want, but I know it's not that good. Can you help me make a better decision right now? What I know is that God saw me. He saw me through my burnout, and He has seen me through transformation processes in the past, and He will see me through the transformation process I'm going through now. And He will see you through your transformation process as well. If you're burnt out, remember this too shall pass. Remember that God is there to give you the sufficient provision you need, sufficient strength, endurance, grace, knowledge to make it through this day, this moment, this season. Don't carry shame. It is not your portion. All right. I'll catch y'all next week's episode.
Thank you for tuning in to the Wellness Rundown podcast. If you like this episode, be sure to subscribe to the podcast wherever you're listening, leave a comment or review, and share today's episode with someone you care about. Don't forget to check out the links and resources in the description below. Beloved, I pray that you may prosper in all things and be in health just as your soul prospers. See you next time.